recognize Mr. Newhouse for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that and enjoy the work that we do together on important stuff. Mr. Secretary, welcome to the committee. Appreciate you being here. You've picked up the ball very quickly and are running fast with it. I appreciate all your hard work. I wanted to bring up a couple different things. So I'll try to get to them in the short amount of time that we have. But first, the Lower Snake River dams, as we've talked about before, you know, hydroelectric power, it's vital to my region of the country. It produces a reliable, low-cost electricity for ratepayers. It provides us so many different kinds of benefits, from irrigation, the power, the clean power generation that is critical for us. It also provides us a tremendous amount of help for the agricultural industry, the irrigation water. It provides flood control. Transportation is huge. All of these different benefits that we derive from the dams. But as you know, there's been efforts over the past decades to breach the dams due to one reason, and that's migrating fish, the salmon that are very important to the Pacific Northwest as well. So I wanted to bring that up. Unfortunately, Mr. Simpson isn't here. We've engaged in a lot of conversations about this, but I just wanted to make sure that hear your commitment to work together with us so we can continue to derive the benefits of the hydroelectric system as well as a strong salmon population. I think we can do both. We've proven that efforts that, if allowed, we've been able to make significant increases in the number of salmon. And your insight, even though this is a congressional decision, your insight, your help on this issue will be tremendously important. And just wanted to ask if there's any plans in place as you're getting up to speed, conversations you might have that we could maybe utilize to get away from the efforts of the federal government, particularly the executive branch recently, of removing such an important asset in the Pacific Northwest.
Thank you, Congressman Newhouse. And yes, I share your perspective on that. Hydroelectric dams were, again, large infrastructure projects. When America was bold, we built a number of great dams. They've been critical to the economic prosperity of our country. Very early suppliers of firm, reliable power. What's great about dams is when demand for electricity goes up, you can release more water. When you're in low demand periods, you can release less water. So they provide what I call high value electricity, which means it's there when you need it and you can hold it back when you don't need it. They're very valuable assets. We're going into a period of significant demand for growth in electricity driven by AI and resourcing of manufacturing. We got to be ready to meet those demands without harming ratepayers by driving up price to kill demand. So yes, I am passionately in support of those dams staying in place. They've been tremendous assets for decades. We should not spend money to go backwards to reduce our energy generating capacity, particularly of such high value electricity as that from those dams. So yes, I am fully aligned to work with you, and so is the whole administration, to think first about the American taxpayers and the American citizens that need it. And I was a board member of an environmental group until I was confirmed into this role. So also passionate about fish and the outdoors and animals and clean air and clean water and all that. And as you said, they go together. They are not always in opposition. In fact, they're rarely in opposition.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. I appreciate hearing that. And on that note, we've talked about Hanford. Mr. Simpson talked about that as well. The chairman did as well. When you come out to visit Hanford, which I know you will as Secretary of Energy, I'd love to be able to include in your trip a visit to one of the hydroelectric dams on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. When I go out to PNNL, I'll also visit Hanford, and I'd love to go visit a dam or two with you as well.
Good. We'll make that happen. So talking about Hanford, a significant effort on the part of DOE in Central Washington, some of the legacy cleanup of our efforts to win World War II and the Cold War, the Manhattan Project, all those things that are tremendously important. But we have a problem that we're facing. I do appreciate the comments that you've made in conveying the importance of that, and really anxious to have you out there and visit firsthand so you can see exactly what's going on. The tremendous work that is happening there requires a stable, steady budget in order to make that successful and long-term commitment, which fortunately that has been there, and we want to continue that. I just wanted to ask you about any kind of thoughts that you've been putting into this. Are you planning to ensure, as you look at the adequate resources that are necessary for Hanford as this work continues and ramps up? We're just about close to opening the VIT plant, which is an exciting thing. So just wanted to get your perspective on that. And again, reiterate, looking forward to your, I'm sure will be upcoming visit.
Yeah, one of my key picks for my team for assistant secretary was environmental management,
Okay.
you know, and I picked a guy who's been a constructor, developer, investor, businessman about building things and moving dirt and making stuff happen. So I think he will be a great asset to environmental management team. But yeah, Hanford is key. You know, the funding for that, unlike almost everything else in the department, is flat for that we have proposed in our budget for 2026 versus 2025. I'm very excited to see the direct feed, low activity waste plant come online this year.
Yes,
I've
exciting.
had multiple meetings with Bechtel about that, and I've continued to express the importance of it, and I've gotten great assurances all the way from the top of the company that top people are on it and that plant will be operating this year. I'm excited to see that. In fact, I'll probably be out for the ribbon cutting when we get that going. Thank you for your commitment to that.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for your indulgence. I just had a couple more things I wanted to bring up real quickly. The first has to do with the Bonneville Power Administration. And let me just say, I do appreciate the efforts that are going in on behalf of the federal government by this administration to reduce spending. It's something we have to get control of. Government waste and taxpayer funds those are the things that we have to pay particular responsibility to in time. However, with the Bonneville Power Administration, that's an organization, as you know, that does not receive federal funds, and they've been impacted by these efforts. Lost 200 employees up to date, which is significant. Lots of institutional knowledge has gone out the door that's not easily replaced, and certainly has a potential for all PMAs throughout the country to impact the operations and reliability of producing power for years to come. So I just wanted to bring that up, ask you how these reductions have affected your agency and what kinds of precautions that you're taking to ensure that they don't impact the grid reliability and raise electricity costs.
So great question, and it is a concern for us as well in the department. When we did our first sort of voluntary, who wants to step out, a DRIP we call it, deferred resignation program, to let people go out on the best possible terms, we had acceptance across the department from it. And we granted those wishes of people that chose in. And then we did a second round that's been much bigger, but we've been specific at saying we can't have people leave from Bonneville Power and the other power marketing agencies because I don't think we have room to reduce headcount there anymore. And so I think, and when I arrived, and I only learned this in the last few weeks, that Bonneville Power Administration was already well below its sort of desired staffing.
That's
so
absolutely true.
That gap was much bigger than the 100 or 200 people that have left since then. It was already several hundred short. So there'll be no more shrinkage in headcount at Bonneville Power. And one of the key things there is in all of these things is to make sure we're delivering on the mission, make sure that thing is getting done, that the power is being marketed, transmitted, and bettering the lives of the citizens all in that region. So I understand your concern there, and we share it, and
good.
we'll keep
I appreciate that.
keeping headcount flat there.
Appreciate that commitment. And then I wanted to jump to another thing that I'm very proud of in the state of Washington, and that's Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. As you probably know, they're celebrating 60 years of scientific brilliance, and I hope we can add that to your list of things. You're going to have to be in Washington for a few days. You know that, don't you?
I do, and I'm okay with that. I've climbed many mountains in Washington, and
that's right.
that took several days as well.
Well, the lab, it's focused on addressing some of the most complex national issues that we have, the challenges that we're trying to meet. It also conducts important research for the energy efficiency and renewable energy programs, as well as nuclear non-proliferation. So lots of crucial funding in offices of the EERE, Office of Science. The skinny budget proposals are significant cuts to these areas. I just want to make you aware of this and ask you about what actions you could take to ensure that the lab and all our labs actually throughout the country have the resources necessary to continue all their important work.
Yeah, and I think that was basically the criterion in developing the budget. We don't want to shrink or stop any of the critical research in our national labs, you know, from cybersecurity that PNNL is so strong at, to, you know, fusion energy, to advanced computing, artificial intelligence,
so many things.
Basic fundamental physics. All of these things will go on virtually unimpacted. We had, certainly over the last several years, a growth of what I would sort of call political science. We want you to work on this problem because it's part of our messaging or it's part of our campaign. Universities have been overrun with science that, you know, politically sounds good, so students drift into that. And we're seeing a shrinkage of the percent of people in technology that are in sort of hard, fundamental, basic technology that enables everything else. And so this is really, and this is together with the labs, to kind of just not touch the hard science, not touch the basic science, not touch the stuff we did 10 years ago or 30 years ago or going to do 10 years from now, but to trim out the fluff that we've been working on. So I think the future of our national labs is very bright, and the scientific and substantive output from the labs will not be reduced.
Good. Again, thanks for coming to the committee. We look forward to having you come out to the state of Washington.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Newhouse.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.